everyone, and welcome back to the lead series. I'm Cheryl. I'll be your host once again. Kama venye nilisema kama kawaida, I'll back and I'm happy to be here. I'd like the men, as usual, who are next to me to introduce themselves, especially to our new subscribers, who I'm sure we have. So we can start with the man to my immediate left.
Hey, kama kawaida.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are happy to have you again, and welcome to our news listeners. You can still check on our previous content. We've been doing amazing things, and we are hoping also to make a mark today with the content we have ahead.
Nice,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah, I'll not be as animated as Ignatius, but yeah, it's nice to have you back. My name is Thomas Ayuaki, and I'm also a host of the lead series. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you especially to our new subscribers and even to our most loyal subscribers for joining us and coming back once again. And before we even start and dive into the content that we have for you guys today, first of all, we want to start with our deepest apologies. Hatuja record ama hatuja post for I think over a month now.
Yeah.
Na si ati kupenda kwetu guys, wacheni tu niwaambie ukweli. People were down.
Yeah.
People were down bad. Sijui ni COVID, sijui ni
COVID
nini.
was rampant.
Exactly. So I think I went down with it first here in the group.
Yeah.
For about, I didn't come to work for like a week. I was down that bad.
Yeah.
Then also ikaramba tom. Kilimramba.
Mine was COVID plus.
Plus,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Ikiwa even sick even.
You can't remember there's a time we had a Monday meeting and even my voice wasn't that clear. But mine was more to the weekend, coming to the Monday and
Hey, walaki yangu iliniramba hapo Tuesday hivi.
But yako
Iliniweka chini.
ilikupeleka aje 2 weeks, like
Aki.
because I saw
No,
it
and
moving
that
to
thing
like
was-
2 weeks.
You know what was happening is that you take so if you obviously get stuck with it, the immediate reaction is to take antibiotics.
Yeah.
But not the problem was even the strongest antibiotics weren't really doing anything. They had to
Yes.
combine a few drugs to be able to work. So I'm assuming, because even for me, I took the normal antibiotics for like a few days, 4 or 5 days. Ikitu aishi.
Aishi.
Aishi. So up
yeah.
until when now I went to hospital at around 2 a.m. by the way. That's where now they put together a concoction of a few things here and then. Yeah.
But I'm glad that everyone is back and well on their feet.
Yeah.
Even our production team was also down. Let me tell you guys, we had it bad. But we are so glad and thankful that everyone is back. And better. So expect more content, better content. Yani, just be prepared. Hold on to your seats. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So as we just dive right into it, what's been happening? So Proparco and NCBA Bank are joining forces in green financing and women economic empowerment here in Kenya.
Yeah.
So people who don't know what Proparco is, it's an financial company that deals with financing developing countries. So they've partnered with NCBA, which is one of the largest financial services in East Africa, especially here in Kenya.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about NCBA Bank is that they've made their mark. You know, especially with the financial services that they offer. Plus, they also offer financial services to SMEs. And especially to women. And with this partnership, I feel like it's helping both with two things that are bothering us right now, with the climate change and also some with the gender equality problems that we have.
Yeah,
Because women are so put down. We've said it so many times. Na bado tutasema. Mimi, I am advocating for it. And I am so happy with this because with these services they're offering, and with their partnership, they're bringing savings, they're bringing insurance to them, to these women. They're also bringing programs for them where they can be able to learn about how to hold their finances.
Also, so they're empowering through the MSME space.
Yes.
Okay,
And they're
that's
bringing
awesome.
financial wisdom to these women. And through this, these women entrepreneurs can build and they can support their families and not just be so dependent as maybe they probably were, but now they can hold their own ground and stand for themselves. What do you guys think about this? Because me, I'm very passionate about it. What do you guys think about it? What do you think about it, Iggy?
Personally, I'll maybe just go to a specific component that you've mentioned about bringing these program or more like a landing curve to women. Basically, there's this notion that goes around, and it's something that is very true. When you educate a woman or when you give an opportunity to a woman, you empower a community. And basically, for me, it's really a thumbs up to this partnership, and I think it's that time.
Kudos.
Yes. So when these opportunities are really laid out to women in the community, we'll really have a community that is embracing everyone, and that gives an opportunity to thrive and to grow. And I know with all the things that NCBA has been doing, I know when all this is given to the community, I think we'll have a sustainable either SME channel or SME space.
For me, the green financing space is very unique. I think we can all acknowledge the fact that environment sustainability is becoming a very big issue. In fact, it's part of the social development goals that we have. So being able to allow people to innovate within that specific space and have them actually rewarded for some of the ideas that they're coming up with, I think iyo kwangu, that's an important bit. And then just within the empowering through the MSME space, I think I don't have the stats, obviously. That would be weird to even just come out with it from the top of my head. But what I know just from even experience is that the MSME space is commanded and led by women. And one of the things I'm realizing it's not even because of any sort of preconceived notion or anything of that sort. It's just the amount of time and care that women put into a venture that they know, as you've said, can be able to help the community around them. Kama kona watoi, kona hazi, maybe pia kuna neighbor mwenye kona shida. It's the amount of time and care they take into, they put into their business to ensure that they succeed is what differentiates them from maybe some of the other businesses that are led by men. So if you are telling me that with green financing, where I think they're looking at environment sustainability, that's a space that they want to exist in, as well as also empowering them through businesses, then I think that's a program that can be able to be very impactful. And I know we don't want to plug NCBA too much because sisi ni watu wa cooperative. But if other banks can follow, sisi ni watu wa kulima. But if other banks can follow, then that's a space where they can have real impact within a very short period of time.
And actually, even just to add on what you said in green financing, how they're bringing stuff to do with climate change, educating these people, like they can see the changes that are happening, but maybe they don't understand why. And also the aspect of bringing smart agriculture into the projects and businesses that they're going to invest in. So for me, it's like a very, very big deal, the way Thomas just mentioned. Something so small that may seem so small to others is something so big and can change so much. So that is something amazing that you guys are doing. NCBA, kudos kabisa. So apart from NCBA making impact like that, Pia Bolt wanna make impact. Wameanza project. It's called the accelerators program. So with this, they're actually focusing on startups. So imagine they're giving these startups a chance to actually, through the program, meet other investors. They can even, Bolt can bring their networks, and these people can, let me just say network with now with the pool that I'm sure Bolt has. Can you imagine as a startup you're given that opportunity where they can even fund you, especially when they see potential of what you're bringing up. Even through this startup, it can help us and bring more job opportunities.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd feel it's something let me say take personally, because even Grey Space is a startup. Ukisi inatoka tena
hiyo tumeipata. Hiyo tumeipata.
You know the Grey Space. So Grey Space is also a startup, and I feel like it's something that can really help, like having that support, having that shoulder to lean on, and having someone actually hold your hand, even though it's just through the beginning phase of it. I feel like it's something really good. And I want to hear from you, Tom, as someone in the space of starting a startup and venturing in this, and all the work that I know you have put into all that you wanted. I know it didn't take overnight. Kitu haikujangi tu overnight.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I want to hear your opinion on this and what Bolt is doing.
Tom, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I think for me, few things that stand out with what Bolt is doing. So first of all, it's innovating within the e-mobility space. And they're targeting, I think it's mostly the drivers and couriers, but they're also extending it to family.
Yes.
Direct family.
Yes.
So just to back up the sentiments you've made, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for guys to be creative, to innovate, and more importantly, and this is one thing. There's one thing that I think this space needs more than anything else, and that's industry experts and professionals who can be able to come in and tell you, like what you are doing or what it is you're engaging with. I think if you just add 2, 3, or 4 things here and there, you can be able to succeed. So, within the space of entrepreneurship, if you can have a space where you allow people, there's investment opportunities, yes, but you also allow for training, you allow for networking, as you've said, then chances of these people succeeding, I think, is very important. Because we've all been in positions like there was a group I was working with where we were fortunate enough to get some seed funding. But the problem is, resonating the idea now with the funding that you have, it's not as easy as people make it by the way.
That's true,
If you're given 5 million Kenyan shillings and you're told, okay, I want you to now translate this idea into a working prototype. It's very difficult, because that's why you start thinking of, okay, so do I reward my friends? Do I give Iggy a 1 million and kutembea na Subaru within 3 or 4 months?
You can even achieve even the goal of the project and everything.
Before you figure, because again, there's administrative and logistical stuff.
Sure.
So like the first year for us, we were just like, okay, where are we meeting? Twende Gilgil. Twende Gilgil to find mkutano. All of a sudden, you're like 600K in, and the prototype is not still as visible. So I like that combination. I know Iggy will speak to it a little bit more, but just the combination of, okay, we'll give you funding, but we'll also guide you with real-time industry experts and professionals, I think is a good thing for me.
There's something you've mentioned that personally I think links to the overall goal of this project being brought out by Bolt, and in order to just embrace or just motivate the drivers and the couriers. Basically, what I really like about it is bringing the sustainable city kind of environment.
Yes.
And if you see the overall project flow, they've already pumped in 21,000 USD of seed funding just to ensure that this project gets to success, whereby they'll have the Bolt drivers, couriers, and even their direct or immediate family members pitch business ideas to various investors within the team. Out of this 120 successful pitch will or ideas will be taken, and they'll be mentored throughout the journey for about a period of, I think, 3 to some months. Then after that, 20 out of the 120 will be taken through more training and mentorship, where they'll also get interaction with seasoned entrepreneurs. Then at the end of it, 10 successful ideas will get direct funding for about $2,000 each.
Oh, wow.
Which basically really motivates them.
Each $2,000.
Each $2,000.
Wow.
To motivate them and also give them a light in just seeing these projects they have to fruition. If maybe I'll pan to the commencement of this project, it is started in Nigeria, where they already did more or less the same project.
These Nigerians.
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
No, okay, I remember last time we also saw that.
Yes,
but
I think with Airtel.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, it's fine.
It's
I know
okay. We are catching up.
there's a way we are feeling about
Kutakuwa na hiyo moja.
They're still in our jobs.
They're still you know.
So, if I were to talk about the winning idea or the business idea there, the overall winner was pitching on a solar panel kind of a project where they were envisioning to provide solar to a given community. So Bolt saw this is very good because they want to work towards a sustainable city or sustainable growth where we can use renewable energy and things like that.
Yeah.
So it is if the business ideas that are going to come out of Kenyans as well are going to be within that line, I think Bolt is also able to walk into it and to build around it.
Oh, yeah, you're mentioning something. You called it what? Sustainable
city.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm getting the whole idea of because I was thinking when I think you sent it to us. Is it just within e-mobility peke yake, ama it's within the sustainable sustainable environment space? Because within that, then it means you can innovate outside e-mobility.
Yes.
It's in and
widespread.
around, so long as it brings that sustainability in terms of renewable energy and things around it, you see. Yeah. Because they want also to reduce in terms of pollution.
Yeah, and I think that is coming up a lot, as we've just said, the thing with NCBA, with the green financing.
Sure, yeah.
Now, Bolt, especially with the thing going on in Nigeria. And I'm loving it actually as an African country and also as an African continent. I mean, we are catching up.
Yeah,
I feel like we are catching up. And also, something else that is making me feel like we are catching up is how Rwanda is getting into now the electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Mimi wacha niseme hata. Mimi mara ya kwanza niliona electric vehicle ilikuwa hii Metro Trans. And I was shocked. I won't lie.
What about the bus?
Yes.
The bus.
Oh, okay.
And have said I have to, lakini huwezi pata. Umeipanda hiyo gari?
The experience is good.
I
It's
miss the iPad.
silent. No, it's silent. You won't hear anything. It's smooth. I really love that.
Uko na bahati. Tomo umepanda?
I've seen them from outside by day, and I think the shocking thing about them is that they don't seem to be making any sort of sound.
Yeah.
But
They're smooth.
Have you tried the electric bikes?
No.
You've not ordered either.
I have. But they go smooth.
Yeah. You don't hear anything. You're just cruising very nicely.
But I want us to go back to now.
You ukishika
Unaenda tu.
unajua uzuri ya kukanyaga gari ni pia kusikia.
Watu wa Subaru ndio wanajua.
Let me talk around this Rwanda project.
Yes.
Overall, this is a project it's coming due to partnership with the Rwandan government and the Auto24, which is a company that is just selling cars around Rwanda and some other countries, Burundi and Namibia as well. So this project came whereby the government also saw the importance of creating or just trying to reduce carbon emission. So the Auto24, in partnership with the government, took it over and started rolling out the Tesla electric vehicles. And basically what they were envisioning is for the Rwandese citizen or Rwandese people to maybe do like a swap. with their gasoline powered vehicles with an exchange of these premium electric vehicles.
Oh, wow.
And basically what that would entail will be reducing these kind of fuel dependent vehicles in the system or within the country. And people saw that it was a very ambitious project. However, Auto24 has already started rolling out the Tesla Model Y. If I would give some more juice into what is Model Y and maybe some specifications. Some specifications of
utaje pricing because history ya kupeleka huko
itabidi
Suzuki
haina shida.
I'll give Tesla.
Okay. If I would give some more insight about it. One, Model Y, within one charge, let me start from there. Within one full charge, I can cover up to 512 kilometers. If I would equate that, either you're traveling from here to Mombasa, is 440 kilometers.
Really?
Yeah, so that's pretty much
440 kilometers. Yeah. So that means with one charge, I'll get to Mombasa and I'll have some spare kind of mileage.
Huwezi rudi.
No, huwezi rudi definitely, but you'll have around roughly 55 kilometers
approximately.
on spare, and you can move around, go to your hotel, and even move to the next day. Okay. Now that's in terms of coverage with one charge.
Okay.
In terms of speed, I want to address my brother here who is so speed enthusiast. In terms of speed.
From time to time. Depending on the car that's being anyway.
If you check some of our cars that we consume here, with Model Y, you can reach from 0 to 100 within 3.5 seconds. Whereby, if you compare with that,
Ngoja. Ati
you can 0 to 100 within 3.5 seconds. But if I bring something in real, let's equate it with something like Audi Q5. It takes around 7 to 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So you see, that's quite fast. Leaving alone that, in terms of horsepower, Model Y has around 217 horsepower, which is very powerful in terms of, and also some other thing that someone can enjoy within it in terms of speed. Let me put this as the last. Naona Cheryl tayari amepotea kidogo.
Remember, Cheryl is a very experienced driver.
Let me ask you a question, Tom.
Plus, I like
Your
F1.
ideal car. Your ideal car in terms of dash speed na nini ni gani huo unaona like mileage pale kwa speedometer huo na gani ndio huwa like your best?
Let me be a responsible adult for purposes of this podcast. I think anything between, let's say, 180 and 220, to me that's that's okay. That's okay.
What about the irresponsible?
The irresponsible hata 260.
Hata 260 ama 300.
260 kwa sawa. 300 nayo sasa unaitisha kwenda tu biguni very fast.
You're knocking.
But 260, especially if it's a German machine, Volkswagen, Mercedes, that's fine because it's 260, yes, but the whole stability that comes with those cars, I think you can do actually with the Mercedes, especially models are 2015 and above, you can comfortably do 180 and still feel as if you're in charge
you have control,
of the steering. Hiyo sasa shida ni kupeleka kwa field when you do 180. That's now a whole...
Amejitetea sana.
But it's true, but it depends. Because
sure.
A 180 with a Mercedes and okay, let me, what's on Chome fielder son? A 180 with a Mercedes and a Toyota are two different things.
Yes, that's
Mercedes
true,
brings
that's
a lot
true.
of stability. So even for you, Cheryl, who I'm sure you drive a lot, you'll still feel as if you're using the same sort of effort to kind of drive it. But with this other one, I think it's easier because ile ndo gari ya wananchi. Anywhere between even 180 is more than okay.
So maybe just to finalize with it, with Tesla Model Y, you have 250 kilometers on your speedometer. No, 220, sorry, in your speedometer. And that means if you're a speed enthusiast, if you love also just creating or reducing carbon emission, this is a car to go for. Now, Auto24 is also just envisioning or just hoping that the Rwandan government and also the private sector would come in and also invest in terms of the infrastructure, like putting in place charging ports, because it's the biggest challenge with African market. Yes, we really want to have this, but infrastructure is not yet there.
Because the other thing I was telling somebody is that, the Tesla or even Rivian, some of these popular cars, as you charge na ile stima ya nyumba, wezi ingiza tu kwa, so you actually have to develop those charging stations, so that these cars can be able to use that. And it goes into the question I wanted to ask the team in terms of where do you think we are as a country? Are we close enough to a situation where we can be able to have EVs? I'll not say eventually take over, but starting to infiltrate the market. Ama bado mnaona tuko mbali, because we know ourselves. We know the limitations that we have as a country at this point. Rwanda is a bit maybe farther from a technological sense.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know, you guys, what you think about where we are. Do you think it's a space we can be able to exist in? And if so, what do we need to do? Because one of the biggest things I had an issue with, as much as that's a very good kind of activity to bring in, is to tengeleze zile the budget-friendly cars. Our Tesla Y model goes for around $48,000 to $50,000.
Sure.
So can we get the Kadudus? Can we start with the Kadudus?
Somewhere,
I think in Kenya, just recently during the African Summit, Mr. President was launching these AIA2. I don't know if I can get the right term.
Was it the car that he came with?
Yes. It's called AIA2. It's pure electric. And the only challenge people have with it is that it's quite small, but within the charge can make you cover around 200 kilometers. That is, if you're just within town service and things like that, even a week or some days, you can still have the charge. Okay.
Yeah, but give us those ones. Let's start.
Yeah,
there,
it's a good starting
it's
point.
It's not like I have 8 kids that I need to carry.
But I think it's a good start where we are as a country, with how we started the conversation, as I was mentioning, the buses. I think that was a start for us, and we are slowly evolving into that type of technology. Sure. It may take some time, because most of the cars that I've seen in Kenya, they are partly electric and also still have the fuel aspect of it. I've seen some charging ports. I've seen one along barabara ya kwenda Karen. I've seen one, I don't know which petrol station that is, but it's along that road as you're going down along Gong Road. Well? Even at the hub, I think there's one there. But I feel
hub
like...
has several, not just one. It has a lot of several charging ports.
Exactly, because how do you know the hub?
Now, let me give also something about electric vehicle history within our country.
Okay.
So back in 2016-2017, just to answer a question posed by Thomas in regards to, as a country, are we really ready for this? Planning to, or just going back to 2016-2017, when we had our very first electric vehicles being used in Kenya, there is this company called Nopia that came up and was doing what we call as taxi business, more or less like Bolt or Uber. But then people really enjoyed these cars. But in fast forward to 2019, some of them stalled and they are just in a parking lot. If you check, they're all collecting dust. If you ask ourselves, exactly. If you ask ourselves what's really happening, the batteries of these vehicles failed. And the owners cannot really bring or purchase the batteries. Batteries themselves are very expensive. Like just for that is 250,000 Kenyan shillings. That's equivalent to getting a new Kadudu and you put it on the market for taxi business. Okay?
But that's why I'm insisting in the process of figuring out the infrastructure, you have to invest in the country's ability or capability.
Yes.
So that instead of asking for those components, i.e. a battery from outside, why don't we create plants here in Kenya that can be able to essentially do that? Because for me, this is a very achievable thing. And it's something that, as you guys had alluded to in other topics, has a lot of advantages when you look at the SDG goals that we're focusing on, especially in this decade. So it's just a question of if we want this to succeed, okay, how can we invest in the infrastructure here in the country? How do we invest in the human capacity? Because that's the other thing. If you get imagine getting 2,000 workers who can develop those batteries. Not strong enough to power a Tesla. That one,
we need time.
Elon Musk is not giving you that, but just enough to power some of these Kadudus that can even, go into the market. Like, what's an average price that can work? Maybe around 800 to 1.2 million. Yeah.
Maybe just to answer you or just to build on that point of the investment being made, the government itself, but through Kenya Bureau of Statistics, or Standard, they brought in a law that any electric vehicle coming to Kenyan market, below 80% of battery life cannot come to Kenyan market. And that's a very starting level whereby the government itself is also seeing the importance of the electric vehicles. But yes, we can start from somewhere. Bringing something below that, with the electric vehicles, the batteries the battery lifespan is quite shortened, especially if it has been used for a period of time. So I think government is also playing a key role in helping us consume, these products, the right.
And I think it's good, especially for the climate as what it's, made for, especially for someone who is in love with the environment.
Sure.
As an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Since when?
Even me, an aspiring environmentalist.
You see, and what we are doing as a country and also as a continent is a starting mark. And I think if we are all educated on the benefit of using electric cars, I'm sure as a country, as a continent, we'll be going so far. Because people have heard about these electric vehicles, but maybe most of them don't even know why. Why are we switching to this? Why should I move from kununua petroli naenda sasa kucharge gari, it's all about education, and I think that's one of the steps. Even as a government, we should start from there, education. So just also to dive into another innovation coming in for our country is that the Meta Global Affairs President, in partnership of course with the Kenyan government, they're bringing in the aspect of content creators earning from the content that they make. And I believe this will start being effective from June this year. And I feel like it's something good. Yani kuwa content creator kwa hii country ilikuwa ngumu. Acha tu niseme, let me open up, guys. It's a free space. Like I felt so much for them because these people work really hard. Content creators in Kenya, are doing
content creators.
Exactly, ndio maana anajaribu kututetea hapa. You know, like what they're doing, especially also the government pia inafanya kazi yake pia and trying to assist content creators here in Kenya. So for us as content creators, mnaonaje hii kitu yenye wanaleta itatusaidia aje kama content creators hapa Kenya? Igi, unaonaje?
Since umenieka kwa spotlight mapema, let me bring it from experience and interaction from young people that I've been talking to. Personally, let me base it on my students, my current student that I have. So I was in class and I was pinned with a very funny question. However, let me say it was very easy. I was asked, mbona wazee wanapenda Facebook? And I was like, okay. And
that's a good question.
It's a good question. And I explained to this young girl that, technology or social media platform has grown over time. During our time, the only social media platform we knew and really enjoyed was Facebook, To Go, and some other funny platforms that went under the drain without, I don't know where they went to. But people have grown. People of my age grew knowing Facebook, so we cannot leave it. When you bring on board this initiative being brought by government and the Meta president, basically what is bringing on the board is that over time, Facebook or Meta as a platform has been earning from our own people through ads and all these other things, okay? But we've never had a chance of even also getting something from it. So they've earned and gained mileage from us. So by opening this up, it's really benefiting us. And imagine entire of Africa, only 2 countries have been benefiting from it. That is South Africa and Egypt. Oga wako hapa sahi. In fact, wao pia wanapata na sisi. Finally, okay?
They should not even be given.
So you see, for me, I'm seeing it as a point. They are coming out now to give back to the community.
And it will help generate income.
Exactly.
It will bring people even into the creative space. Because getting a job these days is not easy, guys. Let's just start there. Getting a job these days is not easy, and so many people have decided to go into the creative space, which is good. And I feel like also this can also be something if you go and tell your African parent, Mommy, Daddy, I want to start doing content creation. They'll be like, where are you getting money from? How will you take care of your family? Exactly. And I feel like it's a good initiative and it can bring so much hope for us as a country. Tom, what do you think about this thing coming up for us?
I think it's about time.
It's about time. It's about that time.
As Ignatius has said, to have a social media platform or any sort of entity really earn from us for such a long period of time, I think was unfortunate in the first place, because I'll be very, very honest. Even when we are setting up the studio, we started engaging and networking, and I know Cheryl, you can speak to this even more. We started engaging with people within the creative space. And one thing I realized about, some of these, I detest using the term social media influencer, because I think they do a lot more than just focus on that aspect alone. What I learned from these guys is some of these videos that we watch, the 10 to 15 second videos, 30 seconds, a minute, it takes a lot of energy
and time
to put together. All these guys that we laugh at and we laugh about, people like Wololo TV and all of that, it takes a lot of time and energy to put this all together. So to do that and then accumulate a following of close to 150,000, 200, some of them are even approaching 1 million. And nothing comes out of that, to me, I think was just, it was a bit unfortunate. And I'm glad
like a robbery.
Actually that's what it was. Because Facebook haichekangi na sisi. Sai kwanza, they introduced double ads before even YouTube thought of it. Facebook I joke.
How does
Squeeze
it work?
ukienda kwa Facebook watch. There's an ad at the beginning and at the end.
Well, I wouldn't know. So.
There are even certain videos. Cheryl is trying to highlight her. Anyway. So yeah, when you use Facebook watch, Cheryl, most of these videos, actually kuna zenye hata zinafikisha 3.
By the way,
You get an ad.
Yeah, 3 ads in one
kuna
video.
kamoja katikati huko.
Yeah, so you can imagine somebody using content that you've developed and that you've used money to actually bring to life, and they're eating, wanakula hiyo pesa yote. It didn't make sense for a very long time. So I'm glad that the president of Global Affairs made that possible for us. And I think just from the notes that I gathered, it's not even the creative space alone. They've also opened the door for digital entrepreneurs. There's been a lot of talk around generative AI and how we can be able to
the big
give
AI.
the developing countries an opportunity to also localize some of these resources. So I love the fact that they'll be releasing the foundational models to the open source environment, and so people like me and Ignatius can sit down and essentially grab those resources and localize some of the generative AI solutions.
Is
that
it
we
a
can
way
be
to
able
use the resources to sharpen content creation within the same space?
No, it's just within, like, I can give an example. So I might want to create a generative AI, chat box and attach it to my website, but one that specifically speaks to the services that I provide as a vendor. So I can use their foundational models to localize my own generative AI chat box, and then now sell it or even provide it as part of the platform experience that I have. But not to go into a lot of the generative AI space. I know that's a space, that's an area we are very, very passionate about.
Yes.
Yeah,
But just within the creative space, for me, I think it's about time. I'm very, very happy for guys within that space. I picture Kina Wololo TV. I picture Kina...
There is this guy, Desmond. I don't know if you've watched it. I'll share with you.
Yeah,
He's very funny guy.
the people have followed for a very for a very long time. Kina, there's this Kikuyu guy that likes crying. Somebody Mwinga, he likes being over emotional, especially when speaking to the. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so those guys I followed for a very long time. Guys who really did it for social media, Facebook, IG, and all of that. I think it's a good day for them. I'm hoping they can really expedite that process. June ikue June.
Yes, tafadhali.
And let's get these young people paid. Yeah,
guys, I think we used a digital club in the beginning, but I think this also deserves one, because it's also just a way for us, our young people to earn, and I think it's a mileage for them.
But you're not in a taxiwa.
Of course.
Problem.
Maliruto yuko.
For you to tax me, that means at the end of the day I'll have earned something.
That's true.
They are growing, we're giving them their time.
Yeah.
And I think it's their time to shine, So also, sasa sisi venye
producer wetu.
Sasa si ndio nataka kuwaelea sasa kama sisi hapa kwa content creation wenye tuko mbele na wenye wako nyuma. These people have been in the creative space for longer. Maybe even longer than I've been born, but anyway, story for another day.
The guys here, there's a certain somebody who was dancing 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Sitataja jina, anajijua tu ndo anakaribia kuongea.
Sio mimi.
Huyo tu.
Ukiona zile sijui Taska Project Fame nini.
Labda alikuwa hapo.
Usijaribu, utavunja mifupa.
But can let us know, you've been in the industry for quite a long time. How do you feel about it?
Yes, actually I'm so excited for this news, and I'll echo exactly what Tom have said. It's about that time. Yani, like people put a lot creating this content. Like una create, like, us especially, even nyinyi now since we have been doing this, you have seen how much it takes, like shooting. At least ninyi mko hapa mmetulia kwa hiyo kiti. Sasa imagine kukimbizana na Embara Baba.
Kisses were chilling. Come on. Guys, we put the Kisses story to rest. I can't even support you. Defend it, brother.
Pole kaki pole. Alafu unakelea content pale Facebook, and then people are enjoying, laughing about it and everything, you know, getting all those views, but at the end of the day,
monetary value
mfuko
haionekani.
tunaanza kuokota celeb. Nyinyi mnapatana mtu huko mnajua this guy is a celeb, I see him every day on Facebook. But now when you meet him out there, him or her out there, you're like, hey, I thought this guy is rich because you see a lot of those content that he created and stuff. But yeah, I think this is great news here, you know. And then it's also about time that we endorse this content creation thing. And now at least Kavanyesha umesema sisi watu wa ile enzi ungejaribu kuambia mzazi unafanya vitu zingine ungenyoroswa.
Ulipata nini maths?
Yeah. But I think we are growing as a country. You know, actually, there's this one of the youngest content creator, though right now alipitwa. He was the highest paid. His name is Ryan. I think at that time he was around 9 years. He was the highest paid YouTuber. Like that kid was making billions of money. And even the parents quitted their jobs.
To manage. Oh yeah, I remember something like that. Yeah.
Like imagine at that age, that kid was making millions and billions of money, you know, because of that content. Yeah, but at least now sasa imekuja kwetu, tutaanza kusuit watoto wetu.
Take.
Mamold mapema.
Yeah, it's great news. Yeah, and I'm happy at least, you know, I've been in that age where Facebook ilikuwa tu ni kudrop ka picha na unaenda missing. Drop ka picha unaenda missing. To now at least now we have at least now you can even Ian anaweza cheza na simu hapa na inalaikiwa, anatengeneza pesa. You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yani I'm happy about it.
Nice. And I'd say I'm proud actually. So we don't only have our sound guy, of course, in production. They come as a team. So our videographer, man behind the camera. Lakini huyo mse mwenye ako nyuma ya kamera alikuwa na dread akakata. Sasa I'm the only dreadies. I'm the only dreads girl here now.
But you know, when such things come like Meta tukianza and from it, we need branding, unaona?
We have to present ourselves.
Unaona?
Uko sure if ile branding ya kukua forced na Karawa manani?
We never know. Labda tuambie.
Alishikwa mahali akaekwa makasi.
There were rumors of his wife having some input. Sitasema mingi. But yeah,
tuli consult.
they are confirmed rumors.
Lazima consult.
Verification.
Lazima. But how are you seeing this opportunity? Delilah.
Nguvu ziende.
Delilah izifanye hivyo. But tukianza history ya Meta, I appreciate kwanza hiyo opportunity. President at least bring hiyo opportunity Kenya cause it employ so much youth online. At least people will make like content from it, and tukianza sai watu tu wakianza kujibuild cause you need like to have a certain number no at least your account to be monetized
Like so something like that, yeah.
And also certain views na according to hizo strategies niliona Facebook imeshika vibaya sana.
Hata mimi naiona hivyo.
So shaitabdi umerudi huko hivyo kwa $dollars na dola inapanda.
Ndio naona man.
So more creating this content inabidi watu wakuwe so much creative, at least tukuwe na tuna put out much content out here sababu sijui venye industry yetu iko, but industry yetu ya Kenya sahi imeanza kupick vizuri content wise. And na appreciate the opportunity as a creator also cause tuna creating each and every day ni content. Tuamu ukitembea unaweza record tu street ya Nairobi. Uweke pale nje. Hiyo ni content na inakuwa ndo.
I told you about the guy mwenye sahi ako na vlogs za kula mayai na smoky. And this guy is averaging close to this guy.
Banko wa Kenya ama?
Huyu jamaa anachafua manzizi masmoky na kuambia.
One time.
Hakuna cha kuuma venye unafanyanga.
So
Pause. So I get where you are coming from.
Because each and everything tu ukiamka ni content. Anything unafanya ni content. Mimi hadi mimi ndarudi kwa cooking videos zangu. Mimi kuanga mpishi hapo deadly. Content creating hapo hivyo jikoni tu.
Anza kuan kasaidia so live kidogo. You never had.
Na tu msa kukula tu.
Si lazima apike hiyo chakula yenye anakula.
Anajua kupika.
Testing.
Are there videos? I think there are a few. There are a few videos you've done.
Yeah, on TikTok. Nimekucheki.
I did like 2 of them. But me appreciate this opportunity because each and everything tutafanya na hata tukiwa hapa sisi wenyewe create our own stories hapa hivi. Tunafaa create size ma BTS more video zetu zikuinje na hata audio hizo zote zinaweza katupe different earnings. Full video ni nini. So hiyo opportunity to create content na Meta na appreciate sana kama content creator out here.
Nice.
Kitu inaweza kutusaidia sana ataka taxpayer yako.
But that's the price of
dollars though astukate sana cause tulimsikia
Katia lazaro yake.
Ala smile akizaa kijua yes.
Kijua inaingia.
Income stream.
Unaona ile video ya Keno kumkole msel kwa anaonyesha prezo venye ame-earn online.
Ule wafinya computer mpaka dola.
Alishtua huyo mtu. But it's a great opportunity na appreciate sana ikikam kuanzia June. Ni ku-create tu. Mimi naweza sema hivyo.
That's what I like. Us as creators, we are hopeful. And we are not losing hope. But on the other side, as we are celebrating, the US is trying to pass a bill, or rather it's passed the bill, for TikTok to be banned in America. Let me tell you, I will fight someone. Because I am a TikTok person. I'm always on TikTok 24/7. I won't even lie. If I'm not on my novels, I'm on TikTok. Tafadhali musiitoe. Tafadhali. Because most of this content comes from America. But aside from that, also there are content creators also who are earning from TikTok.
Big
and I've seen like, okay, the percentage is lower. Like someone earning from TikTok doesn't earn maybe as much as someone who is on YouTube or even Instagram. But still that's like a stream of their income.
And the value is in discovery.
Exactly. Because me, I found so many content creators through TikTok, more than I would have when I'm on YouTube or even on Instagram.
That's true.
So for me, as someone who is on TikTok most part of my day, I feel like it'll bring, I don't know, sitaipenda. Wacha niwaambie tu kweli. Haibambi. Haibambi. Lakini for you guys, as my Facebook era youngies.
But I get the point that you are making, because I think the biggest worry is if US does it, then who's next? And who's next? And we know that that can propel very, very quickly into other developing countries or other countries affiliated to the US market also doing the same. So I get where Cheryl is coming from. And where I would agree with you is that there's no tangible reason for them to ban this outside of regional politics that obviously we can't get into it too much, because to accuse somebody just purely because of their race, to accuse them of being aligned to a government, or in this case the Chinese government, which has been known to be a communist government for a very long time, I think it's just a bit, and I saw those trials, I saw a few of them.
So did I.
And I think this guy definitively told those guys that, look, this is a private entity, I manage it in this specific way, and that's it. So I was a bit disappointed that even after all of that, and they, by the way, let's be very, very honest, they didn't afford him the same sort of decorum that they did for the Facebook guy when he was in the Senate. So to get him to a point where some of the things I'm hearing include if you don't sell your assets to an outside individual or somebody who's not Chinese, then we are not
But
going
also,
to...
he was also stating that he's not Chinese.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, by the way. We have to stop thinking that the Asian communities are monolithic. You know, there are guys from Singapore, Malaysia, all of these different spaces. Not everybody who's of Asian descent is a Chinese. A Chinese. And by the way, there's nothing wrong about being from China, just to be very, very clear.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong about that. So I think the whole thing just doesn't sit right with me. I think that there is, and to be honest, I'm sensing that this didn't start recently. You remember we covered the topic at the beginning of the year where Universal Music, which is an American-based company, pulled all of its catalog from TikTok. When they are being asked what the issues were, they came up with some lame excuses there, but you could tell that this was part of a larger strategy that was looming. So clearly what they're trying to do is just seize and maybe transfer assets from one person to the other, especially for the US market. But I'm hoping that there's still somebody who can intervene. I think the issue is that it wasn't even the Senate, it was the House of Representatives who passed this. And my hope is that maybe the Senate would be able to step in. There's some pushback from the Democratic Party, if I'm not wrong. So I'm hoping that they can be able to at least step in. And as we covered the last topic, at least save young people from losing an income generating stream. We've talked about how these things are so rare and so difficult to achieve. So to remove that and have again people start figuring out ways of earning from the remaining ones for selfish interests, if I'm being honest, I think it's just unfair.
Maybe from my angle, this is how I'll view it. And I think there's a very nice way you've walked around. You've avoided whatever I wanted to address. I've seen, and I also don't want to be political, but we've seen many ways bilateral wrangle between the two, between China and States. And the first company that was also who faced a challenge and had to walk out of American market was Huawei, whereby they ended up now. Yes, they were chucked out of Google Play Store. So they had to create their own platform, and now they have their own operating system and system that is Harmony OS and everything.
And Huawei were very good phones by then.
They were. I had one before.
So, okay, just to put it that way. However, I just hope, and also, if you can see, why is it coming during this political or during the campaign
this cycle,
where people want to hear such kind of topics? So whoever is maybe bringing such things is the person who is on our side. However, we hope that it's going to be tackled in a good manner, that the content creators who are already earning 1 or 2 coins from it can continue benefiting from it. But I want to open the Pandora within TikTok realm. I don't know if maybe Ken had something to drop in this or to share before I can go ahead. You had something to share?
Yeah, sure. Sorry for that. The reason why I read that the reason why they are doing that is because they have fear of the TikTok is using that platform to share the Americans' data to the Chinese. That is what they are saying. That is one of their reasons. And actually, there was even a demonstration with some of the Americans who they're on the street demonstrating. Some were saying that even the TikTok, just like some of us, have boosted their businesses. The TikTok also have made them interact with so many outside there. Because actually, there are so many users in America. Almost a half of its population are using TikTok. I think that is one of the biggest worry that is making them scared a bit of like
the data protection
thing, of which when the TikTok CEO was there at the Congress, he presented himself well, and he actually said there's no way he can share that data with the Chinese, which he explained himself so well, But I think there's something there. If not political, there's just something not right there. Yeah. Because even they even sorry for that.
No
even
problem.
they even suggested. I don't know. I don't know if it's in the same house that they were suggesting. If the company will be sold to a Western company, at least
then that's fine.
it will be safe for them. They'll know their data is safe from the Chinese.
That too can dictate. I can even I can manage that platform from the Western region, but I'll still sell to the who dictates it.
The thing I just wanted to share, especially building on his point, is that everybody is collecting data. Data is the main currency in 2024. That's the most valuable currency we have in this planet. So to almost blame a platform for the amount of data is collecting and still have Facebook, still have Instagram, still have Twitter.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Collect close to around the same amount of, or interact with the same amount of data that these other companies is doing. To me, it doesn't make sense. And you have to again look at what data are we collecting here. Let's be very honest. As much as Cheryl, you love TikTok, I don't think there's much that you share from the point of view of data that you might consider to be a bit dangerous. So I don't know. It just seems as if, as you've alluded towards silently, it seems as if it's a power play to kind of gain a very valuable asset, which I think, it's just unfortunate. They've seen it as
something really big, and now they want it for themselves.
Because you can now
Honestly
imagine
speaking.
around, because when they tallied, the number was around 170 million Americans are using it.
Now look at
So
that.
you can imagine.
So you can imagine how many are earning from it. So TikTok, msijali, we got you back. Na huko from behind, na huko nyuma. And also, while we are still in the topic, discussing things going on in the States, I saw that also the U.S. State Department of Justice is suing Apple for smartphone monopoly.
Okay. That's,
Yani, mimi saa zingine haki. Like, okay, I believe that acquict Jehovah.
Zatoka kwa kesi. Zongeza kwa kesi.
The Apple. You see, I'm so embedded in my job that it just comes out.
Automatically,
Anyway, but the Apple is doing this, like the type of protections it has. Like that's one of the reasons I use Apple. I've been using Apple for now 5 years, I think, and so far so good, and I'm enjoying it. Like it has updates regularly for Apple karibu ningoe mbaya sana. It has regular updates, which I feel is one of its, can I call it selling factors, in my opinion?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially because it's part of their protection, services. And also, like, it's an enjoyable, phone to use. But aside from that, why do you think the US State Department of Justice is doing this? Mbona inasumbua Apple tena? Tumetoka tu kwa US kusumbua TikTok. Sasa ndio hao wanasumbua Apple. Why do you think this is going on?
But Tom,
mimi yangu itakuwa ni defense mode.
I think for me, it goes back to what we are discussing with TikTok to some extent, and even going further to what happened with the European Union through the Digital Markets Act. I get what it is they're trying to do. I understand it from a human point of view, or human perspective. I get the need to kind of just open up the technological space so that you can be able to have like a standard through which everybody is communicating. I get that. However, you allowed these people to create and innovate, different components, different items within the purpose of developing their own ecosystem. You saw this coming from 2007, 2008, when they announced the first iPhone. They were very clear. The thing about Apple, by the way, is that for them, they have a very open door policy.
Yeah.
They have events on a yearly basis telling you what it is they want to do, what it is they want to achieve.
They're very open about it.
They talked of Vision Pro 2 years before they announced it this year. So for you to come and again, and I've been ranting in this podcast, for you to come again, for you to come again and say that no, this is a monopoly. It does not make sense to me. They designed an Apple Watch. They felt that the best way this can be able to operate is if it's connecting with your mobile phone, connecting with your laptop and your iMac. There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Samsung has done the same thing. They have, resources or components that communicate with different devices within their ecosystem.
But
so my only issue is if you saw this coming, Iggy, I'm letting you go in a few minutes. If you saw this coming and you're fully aware that this is being done to essentially ensure that somebody has an ecosystem that works for them, because that's what the Apple Watch, that's what the AirPods, that's what your mobile phone, your tablet and laptop does for you.
An ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem that works for you as the user. If they saw this coming, why are they waiting until this point to start talking about, no, we need to standardize so that everybody can be able. This is a tech competitive space. And so whoever innovates and gets to the top has a right to say that, look, we need to protect our users. As you've said,
yes.
We need to protect our users while at the same time also provide a premium service because this is what they're paying
Value for money.
I didn't pay for your Samsung stuff. And
clearly gracious.
That's not what I'm paying for. I'm paying for an Apple service that, first of all, allows me to access added functionality, and that also protects me from any sort of harm.
Just put your phone there.
I don't get the whole fuss. I think, again, it goes back to government trying to dictate the power and control that these tech companies have. But I might be wrong. It's just that, to me, the approach that they are taking, and it's not US alone, even the European Union through the Digital Market Act, there are better ways of having a more standardized communicating platform than just trying to attack somebody for innovations that you allowed to take place.
In the first place.
In the first place.
I think I also just, acha niseme tu, the attack mode imekuwa activated kidogo.
And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Samsung is in any way below the Apple.
That did come from you. You are now trying to bring it around. However, let me put it this way. How would you feel when you're always the only person being attacked? You're being told, do ABCD, do ABC. Don't you see that you're on the wrong? Now, just recently we created a content around the same company being urged to bring on board the Type-C charging. Why was that being discussed? Why were they being told to bring that on board? One, we're also just working towards a sustainable global space whereby we are not producing so much and getting a lot of e-waste. That was the first thing.
Clearly, yes.
And you use that e-waste point, but continue. Continue. It's a good point.
But then, personally, let me also just bring someone on board. BlackBerry, I don't know if you can remember BlackBerry by that time. BlackBerry was one of the best during those times. However, FBI and the security systems discovered that they had a very stringent security platform that barred even the FBI or even security or the police personnel to even just find out if there are hacks or there's something that has happened, if they can go through and find out, okay? With Apple, when you're bringing on board that you've come up with the product that is consumable and you want to protect your client, I personally don't view it that way. Whatever you're trying to bring on board is, yes, you have something and you want to monopolize. I don't see it as a positive thing. Why don't we have standards that allows communication, cross communication? When you talk about computing or computer industry, a lot of computers really cross communicate and cross share products. We talk about HP, ASUS, and all these other products. They use all their content across, okay?
Yeah,
and we see the peaceful existence among themselves. But wewe sasa umeshatengeneza tu kakitu kamoja hivi, utaki other people to also just come on board. Don't you see the advantage of even opening your market even wider?
Yeah, and that's why I'm insisting. And let me use the internet protocols as an example.
Okay.
We moved from ISO to TCP/IP.
Yes.
At the very early ages of internet connectivity.
Sure.
Because the whole objective was that we wanted all computers, regardless of where they are, to communicate with each other. If you introduce that at the very beginning of your innovation path, I'm fine with it. But if you allow me to, and Microsoft is a very good example.
Tom,
when Microsoft started, nobody had any issue because they had a product that was serving every single
and they are there
demographic.
to these TCP/IP protocol that governs production of tech.
That's on the
Because
side of
all the
communication.
products use the same.
No, that's fine, but that's on the side of communication. I'm strictly speaking about the side of the productivity and user experience space. So once Microsoft established themselves as kings of that market at that point in time, they waited until the point where this is a Microsoft will gain to $1 billion, possibly $1 trillion valuation, to now sue them and say that, look, you're monopolizing the operating system space. But you see, that's not fair because you've allowed me to develop this. Remember, and I know maybe Sherry, you can speak to this a little bit more. There is no US government that's allowing you to design and profit from your innovation without them looking at it top to bottom. So if you allow me to design this operating system, and I'll bring it back to Apple, don't worry. If you allow me to design this operating system, allow me to keep on adding different features and different sorts of functionalities that are basically evolutionizing the world of computing. You can't again wait for me at the top of the hill and say, oh, but you forgot about Ubuntu and all of these other people. Why don't you create a cross-platform that all of this can be able to coexist?
Tom, just to bring this to maybe so that we can move on with other things, let me ask you, when was these open source or the ISO and the TCP protocols brought on board? When were they discovered and implemented?
No, that
was back in 1980s or 19. Okay. Then you have creation. Okay, you have ideas. You ignore these and think that you're going to get away with it. No. Boss, it has been there all along. Why did you implement it?
Did we ignore? Because as far as I'm concerned, an iPhone can communicate with a Samsung device. Team. Does iPhone eliminate? Because this is my whole thing. Why are you suing me? Can't I communicate with an Android device?
You can.
I can. The only difference is that the message is in green. What's the problem?
Why do you need to shout about it?
No. I'm just making the point.
Why does Apple need to shout that now you're talking to someone out of your ecosystem? Really?
No, it's not shouting. It's just notifying.
Stating.
Stating
facts.
It's stating facts.
No, that's being snitch. Yes.
No, my whole
So
thing
we are
is
clear,
this.
guys. This is iPhone, and I mean that's Apple, and this is Android.
My whole thing is this.
Proud
Where I'm
Android
agreeing with Ignatius by there, because he's a very good friend of mine. People, don't
loving
worry.
it.
Yeah, where I'm agreeing with Ignatius is this. I think the whole idea of peripheral devices not being able to work with other devices, for me that's wrong. For me that's wrong. I should be able to use my AirPods on a Samsung device, Techno, as well as Apple. I agree with that. I don't strongly feel as if they should do that, but if they could allow for a space where I'm investing 40 to 45K in these earpieces, and I can be using it in different devices, that's fine. Same to the watch. It's unfortunate that the watch I'm wearing can only work with an Apple device. That's okay. They can make consensus within that specific space, but not within the operating system and its user experience. Because some of us, we didn't buy an Apple device just because we wanted to be seen with 3 cameras at the back of our phone. We bought it because of our security. You get? And that's not to say that Samsung doesn't offer. It's just, when you look at a competitive market sharing, it's the first product that you're introduced to. That's the one that wins the day. So if the first product that's introduced to you and that has those guarantees piques your interest, that's the one that you'll go with.
I think I'll turn it back to Cheryl so that we can move. However, I'll leave it at this level, that even if you're a creator and there are already policies put on place to govern your creation process, it's good to adhere to them. Don't be so selfish. Back to you.
Mbona
and then you see he's closing as he's looking at other side.
I
don't need to go to iPhone. In fact, I'm enjoying using this.
Are you really?
I'm more than comfortable.
Actually, hapa Grace Space, I think kuna watu wawili tu wanatumianga Android, but anyway.
Well,
I mean,
those green messages.
Yeah, those green messages, we don't like seeing them.
Hey, mafan, mkuje tu mnisaidie. Nimepigwa, please.
We are tired of green messages.
We are tired.
Yeah, hapana.
Wait, twende.
That will be an internal memo. Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah, so I think we've had a very fun discussion, actually. I enjoyed it. And
was it fun?
Yeah. Usiumie sana Igi. Don't hold it back. It's a free space. Yeah, breathe it. Anyway, guys, now I think we can move into the last segment of this episode. I believe you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. So yeah, let's move into the panel discussion side of the segment.
So for this week's deep dive, we decided to do something that's a little bit different. And mainly what we want to basically cover is, just social media's place in our society in 2024. I'm not a social media person, as I think many of these guys can be able to attest, but just wanting to learn from them and really just understand where they view themselves within the context of those particular platforms, I think would be very, very important. And I'll tell you what informed this. I think I was reading something, and I was even asking the entire team at some point, I think two weeks ago. And unfortunately, here in Kenya, we lost an influencer. As to whether they are popular or not, I think that's beyond the point, especially being that the person passed away. And I just kept on wondering, why were people reacting in the way that they did? Why was it causing such a division? Because the person has passed away. And, I didn't feel as if there are a lot of appropriate engagement within that specific space, right or wrong. And I came to realize that's essentially what social media is for most people. It's a platform to argue, it's a platform to prove yourself to be right or wrong, it's a platform for all these different things. But that hasn't been my experience. I use social media very, very sparingly, but when I use it, I usually find it beneficial to who I am and the work that I do. So I felt that having this conversation with these three wonderful individuals could be really helpful, because I can learn, we can all learn on just how we can be able to have a healthy sort of affliction or addiction to a resource that we clearly use on a day-to-day basis, certainly the most of the population. So yeah, I know you know Cheryl, I know you know Iggy, who we've been arguing with for a very long time here. But I wanted this one guest here to introduce herself, and then we can go into the topic.
Yes, Thank you, Thomas, and my fellow panelists. So my name is Lucy Buluma. If you've watched previous episodes, you'll see me there. So I'm happy to join this noble topic, social media especially, and its impact. As we are all aware, it's something that is already there with us. So I'm just happy to join the group here.
Okay. Can you and to introduce? So maybe first thing first. Where do you think we are when it comes to just general social media experience? I'll start at the far end. What's your experience? What's your experience using social media, and where do you think we are, just from your own observations?
I'll make it as brief as possible because I know we have our key speaker on it, who is also going to give much on it. I'll just give based on history of technology growth and social media platform growth as well.
Yeah. You remember you said brief.
Yes.
Keyword.
Yeah. So we've personally I've grown interacting with various platforms and also consuming content all the way from Facebook. I don't know if anyone can remember To Go. I don't know if Tom, you can remember it. To Go, and there are other platforms small platforms that we used to enjoy. However, they are not in existence. But I can see the landscape really taking a very strong route, and people, more platforms or more softwares are being developed to enable people to consume more content. And yes, there's a lot that comes with it, and I think maybe that's a topic that we can dive into as we move along. Yes.
So Cheryl, general thoughts about social media. Where are you with it, and do you see it as a positive or as a negative?
I think social media has both its positives and negatives. As we're just from discussing, the positive is, well, you can earn from it. I mean, that's definitely a positive. But its negatives are so many. I'd say like there's the cyberbullying, there's the peer pressure. Peer pressure hii Nairobi. Noma sana. Mtu anapata loan anaenda acha niachie hapo.
Trips to Barcelona.
Exactly. Just because of social media. And especially to the youth, social media, they are growing with it. You know, I wouldn't say it was like our times because there's no one here my age. Damn. I'd say my time.
Just say now.
No. Okay, during when I was but during my time when I was growing up, you know, we didn't have social media like that. I mean, it wouldn't be like for you guys, but it wasn't like that. I mean, social media was there, but I think we were so protected. Right now, watoto wamemea. I don't want to say kichwa ngumu, but they know too much, I'd say, for their age, especially with having younger siblings in the house. I'd say you have to be very careful because sometimes everything and anything is available to them. And especially with their peers who they are meeting up with, what they're discussing, you can never know.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part, and that's the scary part. So social media has its good and bads, but it's all about, I guess, how we take it.
Yeah. And I know we will discuss that point, but there's something that you brought that I think is worth regurgitating. For us, when we were using it, the magic was in the fact that I could connect and relate with what the other person was doing. So, for example, you'll see maybe Iggy posting a photo of him going to a workshop or going to work. So me liking or even engaging with it was because maybe I went through something similar last week, or I'm doing the same thing now. And I think that's what's missing from the experience, especially when you talk about the peer pressure point of view. There's this push for, people to kind of show the extravagant life that, let's be honest, 99% of Kenyans find it very difficult to sustain and present that as their day-to-day. And I think for me, as old as we are, Cheryl, I think we were in the golden age of social media because for us, it was always about genuine experiences and living within that. And that's why Facebook actually grew. By the way, Facebook really grew juu ya hiyo. It's
The
that
authenticity.
relatability, yeah. But Lucy,
Yeah.
you being older than everybody here,
Than everybody here.
and also being a parent, where do
Tumemea
you?
movie.
Yeah.
So me, I'll take it from two angles. Like just Cheryl said here, it has its positivity and the negativity. But again, we can't overlook the positivity that is in it. Because again, social media, as you say, it has created a sense of some community, a sense of community. There is this socialite or somebody who is an influencer that Thomas just talked about. We've seen people being paid for school fees just by people coming together as a community through a social media post, and they do positive things. We've seen people raise funds for different occasions, be it funeral, be it just to mentor or hold somebody's hand to see them through some positive things. We've seen that. We've seen people come together as a community, create a group and sell, right? And even sell their products together. And even as Cheryl earlier said, apart from that, there is also some earnings through it. We've seen youths being employed just because of that self-employment. Somebody is just coming to TikTok, they have content, could be positive, negative, or any, coming to TikTok, and they are gifted, isn't it? It's a source of income. Remember, being gifted a lion as a gift equates to 30,000 coins, which is equivalent to $400,000, isn't it? So you can imagine if they were to come. Yes, you didn't know.
400
US dollars, yes.
400,000 or 400 shillings?
400.
Oh, just $400?
Yes, $400.
Oh,
and that
okay.
is one lion, right? When I was talking about coins, there is this coin and dollar conversion. So you can imagine if somebody was to come with a very positive educational content and then they are gifted like 2 lions. Is that not? Yeah, in a sitting, you can imagine in a sitting. Then now, the negativity as a parent, I know it's something that we can also not hide on. Peer pressure, as she has said, kwa grau, vitu ni different. What people want to portray online there, then now in real sense, it's not. So when people notice mental health, it starts hitting them so hard. So again, cyberbullying, as she said, and all that. These kids that we are raising, they also have their mentors who are already on those social media platforms. So in as much as we would want to hide them out of that, there is a way they are getting hold of that information because they also interact. They use our phones, they interact.
Yeah, that's true. So just quickly, because I need to build on the point that you're making. What do you think can be done at individual and also at community level? What can we do to kind of, shield some of these bad experiences from our young people? Because again, I like the idea that you've shined a light on all this positivity that's happening. I didn't know about the lion thing. You'll need to tell me which platform that belongs to.
TikTok. That is the biggest gift.
There's also a
that we can,
a heart, a flower.
so that we can figure out how to exist within this space. But at individual and communal level, what are some of the things you think we can do? And remember, there's no wrong answer. It's just about giving as many as we can. What are some of the things, for example, Lucy, you think we can be able to do?
I'll start with media literacy. It goes a long way, by the way. Just promoting, trying to, as a community, promoting positive content and also flagging down inappropriate content. You just flag. You have a role to play, by the way, before it gets to your kid. Before it gets to the other person. You can flag some of these posts so that we encourage positive content up there. We have so many things that, apart from just, I'm not here to lecture anyone on the type of content they do, but apart from the normal twerking that will attract that viewership, there is also some positive content that can happen on those social media platforms. So for me, it starts, yes, with education, that is the literacy. People could be talking about positive things and also trying to verify sources. We have people who will always rejoice on things that are not even true, but because they know they will gain that audience, they will post such like things. So just trying to also verify sources, flagging inappropriate content, and promoting those ones that are educational. Yeah.
That's true. Cheryl, what do you think? What do you think you can be able to share? Well, because let's be very honest. I think we'll always come across a lot of pushback from young people, especially from the point of view of their need to be free to express themselves. So how would you navigate that in a discussion? Because again, Lucy has talked about people dancing or twerking, whatever that is. And we've seen on more than one occasion youth defending their right to do so because it's part of the expression. How do we move them into a space where they understand that even though you are free to express yourself in all of these different ways, there's still the importance of accountability and responsibility, especially from the point of view of those who are watching these things. Yeah, because for me and Ignatius, and even anybody, even you and Lucy, we can separate ourselves and our feelings from, we can see a woman dancing or a guy dancing, and we can enjoy and even salivate, for lack of any better word, but still separate ourselves from that content and go and do our other things. Not everybody is equipped to do that. So how then do we educate them on the importance of accountability and responsibility, maybe?
I guess it all comes from within, personally I'd say, because I'd say also for the people who are doing it, and I'm not judging anybody, honestly, because you're doing what you have to do, and we respect it, honestly. But it's also accountability, as you've just mentioned, accountability on their side, because you don't know if you're going to be doing, let me say, content creation or what you're currently doing for a very long time. Especially now, I'll use the example of the whole twerking and, let me say, nudity. That is on social media.
Yeah. And it's on both sides by then, just to be clear.
Exactly. So all these people are doing, yes, it's a way maybe to get fast money, aina shida, but later on, because internet has, it keeps what you're doing.
Forgets.
It never forgets. That's the right word. The internet never forgets. And I think from their side, their point of view, I think that's something they should always remember. They're free to do whatever they want, no judgment. But on our side also, it's to protect our children, protect our siblings. And for me, what I usually do when I can see, I make sure that my siblings are open enough so that when they are watching, they don't go and hide themselves. Because, first, if they're starting to hide themselves, that's a big red flag.
That's it.
Why are you hiding yourself? And then I also usually check their history. And sometimes I also educate them. I tell them, like, what you're watching, aina faida. Because why are you watching it? How did you feel after you watched it? Because hata ukitandika huyu mtoto hatasikia. Let me just be honest. Hatasikia.
In fact, ukitandika ndio unampatia morali ya kutaka kujua. The curiosity in them.
Yes. And it won't help, actually. So what I have learned so far is actually talking to them and letting them know that this is not all that there is in social media. Like, there's so much more. You can gain so much more knowledge. You learn about music, you learn about, so many other things that they're interested in, like art. Like my brother loves drawing and all that. So usually just goes on YouTube and just draws. So giving them the space, of course, yes, to feel free, that they can use social media, but also telling them that even though they see it, of course they'll see it. Let's just be honest. They'll come across it, they'll see it, but it's all about how us as parents, siblings, uncles and aunties can educate them on such content.
Yeah, because again, it's about equipping them with enough knowledge to where they can separate themselves from the platform. Just before I throw in the last question, because we are running out of time, I wanted to push this to the productive team, the production team. Do you think these corporates have a role to play? Because funny thing about the research I was doing, most of these videos are being sponsored by OD-bets, not to put them on the spotlight, OD-bets, I don't know, board, all of these different things. So being that these people are being paid for this content and they're essentially just doing what they can to be able to survive, do you think corporates should also play or at least take some responsibility in ensuring that they are sponsoring things that are positive or beneficial to the population? Or do you think for them it's just a business? However many views are there, we will sponsor that because that's how we'll get our brand out there.
Okay, my view about this, during our days, wacha nianze hapo.
Ndio.
During our days.
Sherry lasikiza vizuri.
During our days.
Yes.
Social media used to be, it's all about networking. You know, like akukuwa hizi sarakasi zenye ziko saa hizi, you know. It was all about networking, learning something from somebody who is, you're not in the same locality, you know. And then now, at the end of the day, we can't change. Like, vitu zina change, you know, like, things are evolving, you see. And then people are getting to learn a lot. But now, when it comes to now that this other side of social media, that is the negative side, which some of this content that people are doing, you know, like for me, I think there should be a regulation of that. And touching on what Tom have said about the corporate side of it, during our time, yes, during our time, like, even as some of you know, I used to kuvunja mifupa kidogo, mabreki. So during those days, what used to happen is that the corporate side never used to promote certain content. They used to have a barrier, like, we can't go beyond this. We can't touch this because this is not what is going to represent us. You see, this is not going, yes, thank you. This is not going to represent us. But I think right now, it's for them, it's all about numbers. It's like that thing have changed. Right now, for them, it's all about numbers.
And getting famous.
Yes, it's like they no longer care about, we don't want certain content to represent us. It will tarnish our name as a brand, but I don't know what is happening.
Can I say we're getting westernized?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, because
To a way, to some extent.
because there's some content which you can watch, and then at the end of it, you see like it's sponsored by a certain
They are
company, and you're like,
sponsored.
how do you sponsor
To them, it's
this?
about the viewership, actually.
Yes, it's all about the numbers.
The numbers.
Yeah, because you see, if at least we could have that, the regulation, even for corporate to be like certain. If you do certain content, we can't partner
We're
with
not
you.
funding.
We
We are
cannot
not
partner with you. Trust you me. Even the content developer themselves, they will regulate themselves. They'll be like, hey, if
I agree.
do certain thing,
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. Because right now, we are in certain age that everybody right now, fame have got into their mind to an extent that they will do anything.
They even
Anything.
sell their personality just to gain that.
Yeah.
And maybe Thomas, just to wrap it, I'd like to also support Ken's idea that both corporate, be it government and even private sector, we have take a look over maybe an example of what Acquit does as an organization. We are right now taking part in creative and content creation in a way that we are even training people in creative space. What is the main objective? To align so that as we are
Creating content, content that also
is very
conforms with the
relevant.
community.
That is, and that is what I was talking about: media literacy. So it can start with and also government putting frameworks that can also, if you are doing something that is messy, that is out of law, if reported, you can be you can face the law. Yeah, you can face the law. I've seen people running to courts and suing people, and They are
and I
yeah.
actually
And,
applauded that because for
Yeah,
me,
sure.
why am I engaging in this toxic behavior?
And maybe to put something, since you brought the topic of corporate or even ownership, now let's put it this way, Tom, and everyone. These social media platforms didn't come from somewhere. They were developed by a certain people, certain software developers who brought out this idea that this platform can work in this manner and can bring traction, can create, okay? My angle of viewing this in terms of also creating regulation and control is how the developers of these platforms, what algorithms are they really bringing on board to cap or to control? I'll give two very significant scenarios, what I've really read over the internet just as I was doing research on this. Back in 2022, there was a 16-year-old young boy who passed away due to a challenge that was taking place on TikTok. It was called Blackout Challenge.
Yeah.
So whereby you would strangle or choke yourself till you black out. So this young person did that, and I think I'm mixing it up. However, what happened? The person did it, and they were found in their house. They had blacked out. Okay, and taken to hospital. After 5 days, they succumbed to whatever injuries they gained. There was another scenario of a similar case where just due to doing challenges, a young person also died, 11 years old, but the content of this person is still being circulated over the internet, even after they've passed. So it's all about the underlying structure of how these systems work, whereby how are these algorithms aligning content to young people? Can this system define that this is a young person? Can we try to regulate or even define content that are kind of building their personal growth rather than just splashing everything out there? So
and I think that's where for me AI comes in. I keep plugging AI, but that's what we want. It's just intelligent algorithms that can be able to understand context, whether it's external circumstances or even within internal data that it's engaging with, so that I can tell that this is a 13-year-old, this is a 15-year-old, this is somebody who's differently abled. So the stuff I'm showing has to be sensitive to all this data that I have. But I know, Ian, you had something maybe as we close. So what do you think, corporate and national government, what responsibilities can they bear to kind of ensure? And thank you, Iggy, by there, for also holding the companies accountable. I think that's very important.
Me, on my side, I can say controlling the audience and someone who's watching is not that easy, but controlling like a company for now, where maybe when they incorporate the AI, because these people, when you register, date of birth, your name,
that's information that's there,
information. If they use just the AI to find out this age bracket, this algorithm, because algorithms see it a come to. It's what you have been consuming, itakusuggestia. So if someone is consuming like something too inappropriate, even just the moment of searching, inaweza mwambia you're blocked out of this, something like that. And also like on the side of on the company and these big brands out here, there are brands that look for numbers, and there are brands that just want to make the audience feel like family. It's the same way like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola doesn't create advertisement just for marketing their sodas. They create it for
presence, existence.
For us, the consumers, to feel like it's something, we belong to. The same way Safaricom cannot go and take SWAT or Rudwa Moranga to do an advertisement. Utapata mama kae hapo ama nani amekuwa kwa billboard anafanya advert just to prevent the audience to relate with something that is more
these are cultural icons.
If they I also come and blame the marketing team for such companies and even the head of those organizations, because if they accept such things that they see it's inappropriate, they are the ones who to blame for what they put out here.
Yeah, for me, just give him a Mankayais everywhere. Just choose people who are contributing to it positively. And I'm not saying that young people are not doing that. I have seen a lot more young people, guys like Wakina Cairo. I told you about Wololo TV and how much I love him. So there are people who operate within that gray space, pun intended, operate within that gray space, but still are able to kind of, just have something that people can be able to engage with. Because hata mi sitaki kujifichanga kila saa nikiona picha za
uchukue headphones. Kuna watu wengine ukiscroll tu lazima uchukue headphones because you are minding. Alafu pia Thomas, kitu ingine ni even how the kids, I'm happy with the point that Cheryl raised, educating these kids. Do you know that we have talents are being showcased through these platforms that we are talking about, and kids are not exceptional. They have greater talents and big talents. But now even managing the social media, now the popularity that comes with it. Napata kwamba mtoto saa kirudi shule saa hizi soma because now they are popular, wanaitwa kila mahali. And unasikia mtu anakuja social media anasema I don't have to read, I made my first million hata kama sijaenda shule it's good you made the million, because again talent inasaidia for you to make even that million that you're talking about. But don't forget the part that you could be talking to a young boy mwenye bado hajui ku make decision, or a young woman who is not in that position to make the right decisions.
So as we finalize, just a simple question. Is there hope? Yes or no? Is there hope for a social media space that is accountable and responsible for how we grow up moving forward? Or is the war over? Have we been defeated? Yes or no?
I'll say it this way. We have an alert society. People already out there pinpointing the loopholes and also the negative sides of it. So I'm certain that there are already regulations coming out, and I've seen there's an organization, an NGO, that is working towards helping addicts to walk out of, content is addictive. So those are areas that personally I can say positively. We are working towards helping people, yes, consume, but also regulate. Yeah.
I say there's a chance. There's a chance.
What percentage?
I'd say about 40%.
40?
I'd say about 40%
Okay.
at the moment. But if we come together as a community, na wewe ukiona kitu mbaya kwa page yako, of course, just
the flagging thing,
the flagging
thing
goes a long way more than we know or think. So I think there's a chance.
Lucy, you're the one with the most at stake.
There is a chance because now everybody is taking it. If we could all take it as a responsibility, we started with the family, we are going to the community, the corporate, the government, and everyone. There is a hope, there is a chance, because this is something we don't want to let it slip out of our hands. It's something that is helping, as in it has some positivities. So we don't want to bury it. So when we continue pushing, however small the percentage is, Thomas, if you were to ask me about the percentage, I'll not articulate the right percentage.
No problem.
But there are efforts that are being pulled towards it, and I'm very, very quite sure that it's going to yield. Like starting, if I'm a parent, why am I allowing? Mi hata sita kubali uende hiyo YouTube. Na si ati nitakukataza uone YouTube. Si nitakuwekea YouTube for kids.
Wow.
Lakini siku hizi wanakataa watoto.
Wanakataa, yes. Lakini sasa, in as much as anakataa anataka kwenda ile YouTube ingine, na umeshamfunza, like early talks. Start early talks. Juu hata huku nje away from social media bado wanakutana na hizo. The bully start from social media, then wanaenda away from now the social media. So it's a corporate responsibility, let me say so.
I think the thing, you guys, the underlying theme that I'm seeing here is just equipping them to understand that even though it's unavoidable, there are ways in which you can cope and actually navigate through this specific space. Production team, I'll pan to Ken.
Nataka to rap.
Just, is there hope, being that you guys are also pushing towards, benefiting from those platforms? Is there an environment where this comes out positive, or are you guys a bit skeptical?
For me, I think there is hope. Actually, there is hope, and it all starts from all of us. Everybody taking responsibility. And especially to all those content creators who are out there. Whatever you create, as in, there's some things that are too much. Najua kuna mali unaweza ona hata uone ukae tu chini we mwenyewe baadaye ujiulize hii kitu nimefanya.
What am I marketing?
Exactly. So it's responsibilities ziko kwa sisi wote, from even the way Cheryl have said, big sisters, aunties, aspirants. Acha ni braga hapo kidogo, aspirants.
Aspirants. Hapo umetoa karibu kila mtu.
Kila mtu. Wengine karibu wajukuu wanakuja.
Okay. So responsibility ni kwa sisi wote. Even also, we also need to evolve, even sisi as, let me say, as what can I say?
As a society.
As a society. Because right now, atuko that era yenye ilikuanga ka kitambo. Saizi, it's us to think and be smart, tuone, like, what are people starting? Like, unajua, saizi kama nye Ian amesema, there's some things that we can't limit. Hata venye bado Lucy amesema, mtu unaweza mlimit hapa, but akienda huko nje. It's not, for me, it's not once, nimefika kwa hao, nasikia mtu huyo anasema kitu fulani, unabaki unaangalia nti yake kwa like, ni wewe umekuwa ukicheza hizi vitu, ama like, no, me hata, but at the end of the day, ukiuliza Kinley, mtu anakuambia alisikia na mtoto mwingi. So there's some which you can't control. It's now sasa sisi tuwafunze, like we
I think I agree with that, and maybe Ian, you can tell us something small as we close out. But yeah, those are very valid points. I love the responsibility bit. I think that's something that I know in later podcasts or later episodes we'll be able to cover in much more detail.
Me can say there's still hope, but bado kuna watu wanaitwa gatekeepers, na bado kuna gatekeepers wanataka tu something inappropriate iendelee. Kuna mabigwing wa Hollywood huku hivi tulikuwa na asubuhi tunaongea na Tom, tunasema some things about Kenya, so like an influencer, the story about Didi, you see? Yeye ndo ana-impacta watu, hata some children wakiwa wadogo to search inappropriate things. But me naona there is hope, and also it starts from us too. Mwenye tu unakaa naye, if you can see mkurugenzi Abel amecontrol daughter wake hadi wa leo, na akiingia high school, hata aingia social media, hata mpesi ako tu hivyo, na but anamuengage kwa YouTube videos za as a family to something to kitupua. The same mtu atagrow positively, na anajua what's wrong. So tukikuwa na impactful tu positive kwa grounds kwanza, ndio kitu inaweza saidia huku nje. Kama Ken amesema, unapata mtu yeye ameimba kitu kingine but amesikia from another child. Inaanza tu na sisi, na kuna hope, cause hata OpenAI hizi vitu zote ukisearch hizi stuff zote watakublock. Kubali inappropriate. So wakiincorporate start think kwa hizi ma social vitu zote, kutakuwa na hope. But wale wako huko juu, whites,
itabidi wa change.
Itabidi wa change.
Yeah, so I think this has been a rich discussion. And again, just a quick disclaimer. We are not targeting anybody in particular. We appreciate that youth have found a lane and are actually making a living out of it. But just as we said at the beginning of all of this, you have to think about your daughter, you have to think about your sisters, your brothers, your nephews, all of these different people. Some of them, actually a large percent of them, they will be there long after we have gone. And you have to think about the world you are leaving behind. As long as we do that and we operate with that same level of sense and care, that we do when we approach our own family, I think there's a chance. I'll slightly raise it to around 50%, but again, it all depends on us. And speaking of everything, by the way, we are not just talking and leave it without any sort of solutions. We are actually part of the solutions that are there as Aquict. If you're interested in learning creative space the right way, then you can always reach us. I think we'll leave our numbers in the description. And yeah, let's figure out a way, step by step, in which we can be able to create a creative space that we are all proud of. Otherwise, asanteni sana. And this has been a lead series. Thank you for watching.